Alright, welcome to another Napoleon Total War 3 mod gameplay here. We got a 4v4 for you today, and it is a really good game, really great game. A lot of ebb and flow. There's a lot of, oh look, we won, and then no luck. I don't know. But we've got Daddy Friday as Denmark. This is Ares as Guard Imperial. And we have Area 52 Alien as Italy, and myself as France 1805 to 1808. And we are playing against Cossack, IglooToIcicle, Brennan Huff, and G, with that's a GEE. But up first, we've got Friday with his Danes, and it looks like he's actually got his artillery already fielded. That's kind of odd. But the British are, one of the British players is starting here in this location. I do know that they have a British, I believe, Peninsular or Waterloo, a Russian 1805, 1807, which I think is over here, and then a Russian 1812. And right here is a British 1801 Egyptian campaign. So first up, we've got Friday with his Danes. We've got some Geosappers. Oh, where'd they go? Where'd they go? Okay, he's putting them on the road. To start out better, we've got some Kongens live courts. They're pretty good, I believe. These guys are awesome looking. These are these are some elite units for the Danes. I love their I guess they're bearskin hats, bear fur hats. Um, Maybe they're not. I don't really know, but check out that blue feather right there. That's or leaf or something. But that's such a cool. They look so good. Um, Oldenburg. We got some. I think these are Finnish. Fritzky line. I think they're Finnish troops maybe. We've got some really good units here lining up for Friday. Here's some more of these grenadiers with their cool little blue grenadiers and some of those. And up here we've got the Live Guard and Cav, which are pretty good Cav, are really pretty good for the Danes. The Danes don't get the greatest Cav. Their best is they have some pretty good infantry. Most of their infantry is actually square. You get a lot of elite or squareable, really good infantry. For the Imperial Guard, we have Ares. He's got the Mamelukes, which were not actually Mamelukes. From all that I could tell, they are Old Guard cavalry. They're part of the Chasseurs à Cheval. So the Guard had 4 cavalry units. You had the Chasseurs à Cheval of the Old Guard. This is the Old Guard cav. You had the Chasseurs à Cheval, the Grenadiers à Cheval, which are these guys right here. And then you have these are the Chasseurs à Cheval. And then you had the Polish Lancers, and then you had the Empress Dragoons. And the Mamelukes were a part or a squadron of the Chasseurs à Cheval. If I am correct, I think that's right. But they were actually just normal guys dressed up in the gear of a Mameluke because Napoleon really liked the whole Orient and everything like that. So for the Imperial Guard, we have some Old Guard. Check out these great coats of the Old Guard. We got some Chasseurs, that's actually Combat General. Some Chasseurs, and we got some Middle Guard, which are pretty sweet. I think the Middle Guard looks pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. I love their uniforms. They look clean. Bunch of Middle Guard, and then we have some Young Guard. So a pretty good combination of Middle Guard to Young Guard, actually. And who's our general? We got Edward Mortier. For this, we have the Italians. The Italians are actually really fun faction. I've never really played with them. I really want to, but I haven't really figured out how to build them. But they have really good cav, but you can't really get a whole lot of them. But they get really good cav, and their infantry is a good combination of elite and some grenadiers, and then some okay line infantry. So we've got the Dragoni Napoleon. These guys are pretty good. They look pretty sweet. Then we've got some, these are going to be basically Hussars, if I can guess correctly. And then another unit of Hussars. So we got one heavy cav or medium cav, and then that, and some 3 Hussars. And then for the infantry, we've got some Carabiners. I think these are actually a pretty good grenadier unit, some line, some more grenadiers, and then we've got these line infantry here. I do know he has some really, yeah, these guys, they have some really cool, look at these guys. These are elite. I'm not going to try and say their name. I know they're Royal Guard, basically. So they look like Old Guard, but they are awesome, huge unit too, 179 guys, and this is a combat general, so he spent a lot on that unit. And then we have these guys, which are some carabiners of the Royal Guard too, 142 men. That's such a good unit. And then more line infantry that could be square, more line infantry. And then you can also get these little units of like 25 guys. And then we have some horse artillery 6-pounders. And he has Dominique Pinot as the general. For me, I have the 1805 to 1808 France. I've got some Chaussées à Cheval, Hussars. I have a horse artillery 6-pounder, and then I've just got a lot of line infantry. I have a ton of line infantry. My main goal, and they're all L4 and above. So I love the look of these guys because they're old school. They're not. They're kind of like still have the revolutionary look for the French army, but this is pretty much when the French army was pretty dominant. Not gonna lie, they're pretty a dominant power at this point in time. I've got 2 units of Voltigeurs, which are pretty sweet. And then 2 units of Cuirassiers, yes, yes. And then a couple more Chaussées à Cheval. So we'll fast forward here. But look at the deployment. British player here, Russian there, and a Russian here. So this map, the locales, you have a bunch of 1-pointers spread across the map. So we got a 1-pointer here, I believe, a 1-pointer here, and then some 1-pointer over here, or 2 1-pointers right there and right there. 1-pointer here. And this one right here is a 1-pointer, but this is a 2-pointer and this is a 3-pointer, and then a 1-pointer back there. So this area right here is the most important area of the battlefield, because we can't. They can get 1, 3, 5, 6, and all we can get is 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4, 5. So we can get 5. But we can't get the 6. So if they hold this, and the thing is though, if this guy chooses to fight here, he could. I mean, he has like a decent rise, but right there they have a really good hill commanding this area right here. So we're gonna fast forward kind of through here as we kind of move up. Friday's gonna move up his Danes straight up this road, and hopefully my idea was to kind of just get my infantry to rush up and try to bully the British player here, hopefully before he got reinforcements. But if he played smart, he'd pull back, which he does, and he's going to pull back. And this is 1801 Egypt, and so he plays real smart and he pulls back. He doesn't leave his armies to separate. And the British player under Arthur Wesley, and this is the Peninsular Campaign, and then we have Levenbong Bennigsen and Piotr Wittgenstein coming up. And the Imperial Guard player is going to kind of push up through the center as well. Talking to Area 51, I told him to kind of push up with me, follow me, and either I would take the center or I would take the right, and whichever one I took, he would do the opposite. So if I took up center, he would do up on the right. So that's kind of our plan. This hill right here has a really good vantage point because I saw that they were going to pull back, and my artillery is going to set up on here so I can get a little decent shots up. I didn't notice this, but it looks like the British are actually running down the road. Well, they started a few units started running down the road. But I don't really know why, because we're nowhere near getting there. Sorry, I was looking at my thing. But my cav is kind of moving up an area to kind of protect my artillery. I had a little cluster right here. Some units kind of got left behind. But right now, the battle is shaping up, and it's kind of cool how they have 3 players converging on this one area, and we are also, this road right here, because the Russian player here is coming down this road, 2 armies are coming down this road, and another British player backed up. So we kind of have, everybody's kind of coming into the area. So it's gonna, you can already tell where the fight is really going to be. But hopefully, Imperial forces can pull out a victory. The map is Quatre Bras. It's one of the Waterloo maps. But it's one I've only played with a couple times. It's one of the historical maps. So coming up, got my artillery setting up here. Got some Shoshos, Cheval, or these Hussars. These are Hussars. Are going to move up. Can already kind of start seeing some Cav. Got some King's Irish Hussars. These guys are pretty sweet. I love the Cav for the British. I love their Hussars or their light dragoons. Man, these guys look good. They look so good. You know, we'll just get rid of this map. But they do look good. They look good. Coming up, we've got some more. So all we have is a couple cavalry units. That's all we got. Friday is moving up. We do have actually a pretty good little round of artillery. But Friday is moving up his troops, and those guys look good too. They look really good. Love the way some of the grenadiers. But as we could see, some British troops are forming up. Some artillery shells from my 6-pounder are kind of coming in, trying to get some kills. And we do get a kill on a Prince of Wales light dragoon. The Supple 12th. What a odd name, but that's okay. These guys look good too. The British Cav looks good. Really, really good. Historically, from all the readings I can do, the individual soldier for the British was actually really great, Cav-wise. Horsemanship was always pretty good, but where the British lacked was their organization or their leadership wasn't always the greatest. Cavalry for the French, as it was always really good, the individual soldier wasn't always a great horseman. It wasn't. They had good numbers, they had good leadership, but typically your horsemanship from the individual soldier wasn't always as competitive against, say, the British or even the Southern German. Southern German cavalry was really, really great. Bavarian cav was really good. Saxon cav, but Saxony is it's kind of middle Russia. I mean, middle Germany. A lot of their cav was really good. They had really great, really, really good horsemanship. A lot of really good guys, but a lot of your horses actually came from that area. Polish, Russian, Cossacks, and Polish soldiers had really good horsemanship. They didn't always have the greatest mounts. That also was a kind of a big thing. As you can see here, the British are lined up on the hill, have a really good hill, setting up their 6-pounder. A lot of your horses, your lighter horses and such, for like Lancers, Hussars, they came from Poland or kind of the Eastern European area or Russia. But your heavy cav, your heavy draft horses, your cuirassier horses, your dragoon horses, they typically came from Germany. Frederick the Great, he was Frederick the Great, not the one during the Napoleonic War, but Frederick the Great always bought heavy horse from Germany, and he always bought his light horse from Poland. It's just kind of interesting to see how the geography of horses kind of also saw what type of combat you had. Polish and Cossacks usually had great horsemanship, great soldiers, and pretty good leadership. Had pretty great cav typically all the time. As you see, Russia has arrived. Man, they have a lot of cav too, but I'm trying to get my artillery to line up and try to take some of them out. My Voltigeurs are going to push up. Man, at this point I'm like, yeah, let's just do it. I've got my troops lining up, as you can see, but it's not looking too great. They're actually got a lot of artillery, and right now they're trying to put a whooping on the Young Guard artillery 6-pounders, which I don't know who would win this fight. Sometimes in these battles, artillery is kind of janky. Sometimes not janky, but artillery duking out with artillery it's going to take a while sometimes, or it doesn't. I've never really figured it out. But see, like 3 here have lost, but I mean this is Young Guard compared to 6-pounder foot. I mean, if both these two, if the Denmarks opened up and so forth, it probably changed. But as you can see, another artillery piece has come online. It's the 6-pounder for the Russians. So they have a very large artillery presence. I'm starting to move on my infantry. I'm just going to go for it. I was like, let's just take it, because if we don't, like I think I've said in the previous video, like if we don't bite the bullet, something like in this game, you have to bite the bullet. It's not like it's not Modern Warfare basically. Modern Warfare, these guys are all dead. These guys are dead because you have machine guns, you have rifle fire, that was perfection. But in kind of the Napoleonic age and stuff, you know, you can get within 100 yards and lose a few guys. You just have to bite the bullet. And if your guys are better than the other army, you know, they get that few seconds while you try to form up. But then, I mean, you just have to bite the bullet to get in formation here. Friday's moving up his Danes. Yeah, Italy is still way off in the fight. He really took the heart of just going around on the right flank. But he really took that to heart. So this moment I'm lining up. I have a lot of confidence that my infantry could beat this infantry, but with these two artillery placements, I'm going to be crushed. I got my Voltigieres. They are trying to harass this cav, but they're doing a pretty good job. Pretty good job. These dragoons are going to get back. This is actually a pretty decent little unit. 60 man. My artillery is trying to get the 6-pounder though, because I'm trying to knock it out as best I can. But as you can see, just getting popped by that British artillery. And that Russian artillery is going to open up soon too. I mean, these guys have already lost 14 men. That's not good. And these are one of my light infantry units that are pretty good. They're not, like, these guys need to get in the fight, in a line fight, because they'll actually do a lot of damage. But as you see, the Russians are pushing up. I believe this is Cossack. I believe he was in command of the 1812. This is my favorite look for the Russians in this game. I love this look. With their caps and everything, and it's pretty interesting. At this point, I don't really know about the average Russian soldier. I know the earlier versions of them, it's kind of interesting that if you were recruited into the Russian military, or if you were a serf or anything like that, they would shave your head. So if you left, or you went AWOL, or you tried to desert the Russian military, they could tell you were a part of it or a serf because you had a shaved head. That was a big kind of thing, especially after the battle, when troops kind of were intermingled and they didn't know who was who. They could see that the Russian troops had the shaved heads and nobody else did. As you can see, we've got a 12-pounder. This is what I was afraid of. The Russian 12-pounder. Like, man, that's like 1.5 guys long. So they're pushing up. Danes are holding back. The Young Guard artillery is getting beaten down. We haven't faced... Italy needs to get their cav kind of up, because I do know the Russians have a lot of cav, but if we could beat that cav, that whole right flank, for our right flank, will be pretty good shape to fight. And it could possibly mean the withdrawal of Russian soldiers. But at this point, I'm like, nah, I'm not going to duke it out against... I'm not going to be painted by 2 artillery pieces. So I started bringing all my line over, because I was like, yeah, I'd rather possibly kind of flank around and really kind of push up this hill. I do have my own artillery trying to get them before they unlimber, which is not really going that well for me right now. Man, the Russian hussars look really good. Look at their mustaches; they're great. But we are pushing up. There's some. The Imperial Guard is pushing up with. We kind of decided when the Imperial Guard kind of got in more position and started pushing, that's when we were going to really try to hammer it in. Because we actually have really good line infantry. We have a really good, I mean, I'm 1812, I mean, not 1812, I'm 1805, 1807, 1808, France. That's probably one of the better Frances. Have great line, have great resiliency. We're good to go. The dog's giving me a look like, what you talking to yourself about? But she's falling asleep on the bed, so she's good. Italy is, and the longer we wait, the more likely that Italy will get into position. My only worry now is this artillery piece for the Russians. Gosh, they are getting it ready to go. But most of these units, they have a few units that can't form square, but the Russian cav is forming up. I am starting to form up my infantry, trying to bring around my TheWingedHussar to try and at least hamper this 12-pounder, at least, hopefully. But I don't really know what happens. He charges through to come get my TheWingedHussar, and he kills his own artillery. 5 of 30. Like, that was a game-changing moment. This guy has his 12-pounders are gone. And he doesn't, you know, he probably could have kept going on my infantry, but I still had another cav unit over. But that's his 12-pounder gone. Um, so let that be a warning to you. It's not always a good idea to charge through your own man, and it's also, I'll show you, it's not a good idea to rear charge your ally or rear charge units. Some of these guys went flying because that cavalry just hit them. It looked like I don't know. He's kind of, Russia right here, 825 is kind of playing around. I do have my Cuirassiers here. I have my big boys in the back right here. Friday has sent over his cav. We could try and win this fight. But as you can see, the Russians had a few volleys. They did get in. Lost a few men, but I mean, it's well worth it. I mean, look at this. Their line is already, he's like, it's time to back up. It's got some Voltigeurs on the side, which was probably exposed to cavalry charge. The Danes and the Imperial Guard are pushing up. They have a pretty good artillery advantage here. But look right there. We did not see it until it was too late. Cossack Don are coming up the flank, and we had no idea. They may have, I don't know if they went all the way around or they were guerrilla deployed, but they're coming in, and they're going to go for a Remordier, which is not good. And we even have the Grenadiers à Cheval that are right there. Italy is finally making an appearance. I do charge in to try and catch some of these guys off guard. I do back up, but then they're like, oh no, we're not going to really duke it out. Russia is backing up. So right now, on this advance, I'm like, okay, we got this. If I can push in this flank and they can hold down the other guys, we'll be in like Flynn. So at this point, the Russian cav is pushing up. Denmark cav is pushing in as well. And my artillery is opening up still on the Russian positions. But I don't really know if they have anything. All right, Russian charge coming down the middle, going for the artillery for the young guard. But he is moving some grenadiers, some Voltigeurs into the line. And I did not notice this. This would have been a really good catch if I had noticed it. But I didn't. Ares does lose his cav to the Cossacks. They get a really good charge in. But it looks like the young guard's cav is beaten by these Hussars for the Russians that do get charged by the Mamelukes, which should handily win that. We did miss this. I did go in at a charge, kind of drew in some Hussars, and we're in on the Cuirassiers right now. My general does come up to give some support. Italy is charging in, but he's charging into my rear. He's not actually charging in to the Russians. He's charging my rear. And my infantry is moving up, pushing really well. Got some gunshots on these guys. They're not going to try anything. A big unit is still pushing forward. But I mean, he rear charged. He should have swept them around as best he could or come in through this way. But he rear charged my own men, which I don't think it really did any damage. These Hussars did break off, but they'll come back at 2240. I do send up a unit right here to get some shots into these guys. But right here, he charges his units. He charges his cav straight through my general and kills my general. So we're down 2 generals right now. It is not looking good. I mean, that almost broke my Cuirassiers, losing the general in a fight like that. My infantry is slowly still pushing up, trying to get some flanking shots on my Voltigeurs into the British line. My line is pushing in, but we are taking, see, this is a really great position for them too. Russia has their 6-pounder still active into my flank. But the fight is still going our way. My Cuirassiers right here, we're just doing great work. It's okay, girl. It's just somebody walking. You're getting nasty. I do have a rear charge into the Cuirassiers of the Russians, Novigrad. That should be able to break them. I have a big unit of Cuirassiers here, so I'm trying to get them through this gap so they don't charge, but this 6-pounder is busting up that line unit right there. Cuirassiers are broken. Excuse me. Yep, they're taking a punishing. So, I mean, we've beaten down their cav. So, I mean, besides losing a general, this has been a really good fight for us. He does square at this unit. May have thought I was going to charge. But my biggest issue right here is these Corsican Rangers and this artillery. This is my biggest issue. do start pulling in some guys. They're going to form square. Friday does not look like he's going there. He's going to go into the Corsican Rangers. The Russians do embed their infantry into the enemy, into their squares. My line is reforming yet again, so we're pushing. Right now, my only general is a combat general. He's at least 3-star, but he is a combat general. The fight over here is pretty much is a good one. Let's go. It's going. It's going. The Danes versus the some Russians here. That's a huge unit. That's a guard unit. 1805, 1807 gets some. Ah, man, they look so good. Oof, that's a good volley. Let's see if we can. I'm still not really effective with this. Yeah. Yeah, we kind of, yeah, can't really do much for that. But the Danes are doing pretty well. We still got some Cavalry Guard for the Russians there. Trying to move up my Voltigeurs. I should have been trying to target this. I'm slowly, if the Russians give me ground, I'm pushing my units up. We're just going to start. This is, like, we've got this flank on the run right now. The Imperial Guard is actually taking a pretty decent beating. I believe they got the Cossacks, I would hope. My artillery has limbered up, and it's moving up with these Chasseurs that were guarding it. And the Italians have still not gotten to the fray except for a few Cav, so it is time for him to shine. I try to get my Chasseurs. I have to take out this artillery piece, but again, he pushes them up into the square, which I probably should have just pushed up as what I could right there. But Friday does go for these Rangers again. And he kind of moves them on a little bit. Maybe a little go ahead there. And he goes for the British general. This is Ralph Abercrombie for the 1801 Egypt. Does get a decent charge there, but they do break. I do come in and finish those. Oh, actually, this is the Mamelukes. Or these are Chausseurs à Cheval. They're going in. But they're dealing with a lot of cav. That's dragoons and some light dragoons from the Brits. Italy is pushing up now. We have a good assault going. We are pushing back this flank. The Danes are steadily holding them with Friday at the command. This unit looks like it's actually, well, no, it hasn't taken that much of a this unit right here, the King's German Legion, has taken some shots. But this unit is still going. This is probably the most devastating unit they have on the field for them right now at the moment. But we are trying to push them back. We've taken the hill, and the hill was taken out of play for them, which is the main goal for us. If we had kind of let them have the hill, but see, we kind of flanked around and took the hill from them. But I do have that unit right there that's going to break due to the 6-pounder. Still shooting at it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do anything to beat that unit. Every time we got close, they would put it in the square. My Voltigeurs are shooting, but they need to start shooting at these guys. But they're shooting at these, you know, doing some damage. But the proud French are hanging in there right now. These light infantry are so good. I do try to charge again, trying to just, my main goal was to get them off the guns. And I don't know, I think he charged them. Whoever charged here, I think actually, so again, another little charge that I really didn't complete, where the other opponent charged his own men and ended up succeeding. The Italian is marching through, and the Russian is going to have to back up all forces. Again, this is time to go and push up again. See, I'm trying not to give them any time to redraw their lines. We got to keep going. Can't give them any ground. The Dragoons are going to go in. And this unit took a real big beating earlier. But they're going to break. The line infantry there does form square, which is not good for me. The British are realizing that the Russians are pulling back, are going to pull back themselves. This is where I kind of messed up. I kept having this 6-pounder here, and it never got used. It never was used to its full ability. But as you see, the Imperial Guard has taken a beating. I mean, this middle guard is down to 50 guys. I do a charge with some TheWingedHussar. They did not form square, which is really good. So we're going to cut down a lot of these guys, but these guys are formed square, and those guys are probably going to get beaten back or break. Worse, or break. I do pull back my cav. They're still at 134, so we're still good with that cav. Rushing up my Voltigieres to try and keep punishing. Friday has pushed back his Danes. The British, I think, pulled some units over to help this front. But at the moment, they have this house, and this house, I believe. So they have a really viable position here, though. Really viable. The Italian is readily. Oh, look at their blue coats. Lost the whole unit. That's those guys. I think they got chased down. The Italian player is relatively still completely intact. He has all of his cav, and his infantry is pretty much intact. The Italian has some great uniforms, dude. Classy stuff. Well, they're blue. Classy. Super classy. Looks so good. But they are pushing up. And what's great, I think some of these units are able to inspire, and he has a combat general, so he's got it going on. Man, look at those guys. They look dope. But he is pushing up along with mine. At this point here, all these units right here are not squareable. So Friday was like, hey, give me a gap. I gave him the gap, and we've got it going. He's going to push in. Some Dragoons are going to push in too. But here, come here, the Grenadiers Achevel are going to roll in now. They took a volley, so they're going to push in. Is this a square? I don't know if that was a square or not. I don't exactly know. But I began pushing up my men. A main objective was not to shoot these guys in the back, which I turned off some of my fire at will. The old guard is pushing up. Italian is pushing in too with Area 51. The Danish cav there is doing really well. We did break that unit. Hopefully that unit won't come back. Grenadiers Achevel are doing work like they always do, as these Russians try to run away. He should have pulled it back, but then my guy starts shooting. I thought I had got these guys off fire at will, and they're starting to just shoot him in the back, and that was a big boo-boo on me. That was a big boo-boo. Hey, boo-boo. This Italian artillery right here is still way back. We really need that up at the front. But as you can see, the morale is dropping because of my shots into their rear. That is all my fault. So Carabiners move in to take out this Russian here. I do a charge on these guard infantry, these Jaegers, and a cavalry guard do a charge or a counterattack on me. Do. Always say that. I say that too much. I do a bayonet charge on these Russian line. Grenadiers Achevel are still fighting, but they're finally broken by a couple of units, and that was probably my fault. That was honestly my fault. Shouldn't have been shooting. I do form square, kind of scare off those Dragoons. My cav does get out of there, but right now our only generals are the Friday's general and the Italian general, which is probably only 1 star. Friday's, I don't really know. He could be multiple stars, but we did lose my 3-star general, and Mortier is like a 4-star. So we lost a lot of our stars general-wise. My artillery is still here. I still, yet again, not really achieving much of anything. Oh, I know how I lost that unit. I had when I was sending my TheWingedHussar around, there were 3 12-pounders that were still on the road here. I don't know, I guess they were super slow. So I did get a charge in, as you can see, and they did get broken, and they had to be forced to retreat. Well, this line infantry is going to come back. But the coalition does have quite still their generals up. And we're still looking really well. We're still looking really well. We're still looking really good at this point right now. Friday's had to kind of back up his army a little bit. The Imperial Guard has been shattered. I don't know. Know what the dealio was that. But the British really cut them down. I guess that's just the. I guess this map is its nemesis, Waterloo or whatever. But the Italian player does set up a 6-pounder. They're a little far away. May have wanted to put them up a little closer, but it's not that big of a deal. He is pushing up he may want to try and stretch out his units. We did figure out, I don't know if this is a newer player, so Area, if you watch this video, just a helpful tip is that I think you were right clicking on a lot of these guys, so a lot of your guys were moving up instead of just shooting. So when you play, you want to drag them out and let them just fire at will, because I think that's exactly what this unit is. Unless oh no, this turn unit is charging. Okay, we'll see how these units rotate. I don't know if that's you doing it or the computer, but here this is really annoying because they automatically start shooting this house, so all these guys start lining up. But if these guys would just form a flipping line, they would break all these guys. The Imperial Guard is doing their best to try and take this house right now. He has thrown in some some middle guard, but it is not going our way. It's not. Cavalry Guard for the Russians is their biggest unit. Is Cav still. I believe the British still have some Dragoons and another unit of Hussars. But I don't know. I don't know if he knew that they were coming. Did he kind of veer them off? It looks like. We formed square with a few of these. I don't really know what's going on there. My Hussars are still here. Imperial Guard is throwing as many men as they can into the formation there. These guys are getting taken down. Man, that was a good volley. Right there in the face. My line infantry are trying to form up, but they're having issues because of this freaking house. And it's kind of annoying. If we had a general here, we probably would have done really well. Probably should have brought the Italian or kind of got Friday to come around, take this house. Because if we didn't take this house, this was a big loss for us. We did take this house, so we do have a 1-pointer, I think. But let's see if this is the 1-pointer. So we have a 1-pointer, and so this is the 3-pointer, and this is the 2-pointer. So we have. So the battle is kind of really switched around. So we went from the coalition forming up a line here to being pushed back and forming up a line down the road that we literally came down. And this house is actually our anchor, or for this left point of our line. We've got the little 25 battalion citizen troops duking it out. The Cavalry Guard is still in action, which is kind of insane. These guys need to shoot. Shoot, guys, shoot. They're getting away. They are exhausted, though. Starting to move my own Hussars around. Imperial Guard is still trying to dig it out. I finally do set up my artillery. Friday did marches, tried to get him to come up here to get his general to help support. But I'm glad I turned my guns off because they were loaded. But they do miss. They're like right there, and they miss, which is honestly insane. We do have the line battle. The Russian is going full Russian, basically. Russian some guys trying to get some charges here. Should have got these guys to charge in. We are winning the line fight. Man, it's a lot of dead horses. But the fight is going the way for us at the moment. It's looking good. Right now, it's kind of 50-50, though. At one point, we were like, yeah, we got this. And at another point, we were like, this is one of those points where it's like, anything can happen. The Italian does see this and does charge his guys in, but they already broke kind of before. I did kind of line up one of my guys to shoot across from them. Luckily, my line is actually putting a whooping on these British lines, so we got it going on. We got it going on. The Cavalry Guard is coming in. They are exhausted, so I was like, these guys can't get away from these guys. They're still a top condition, and they are fresh compared to exhausted. So let's see if we can't just knock out one of the final big units for the Russians, cav-wise. Does form square here. Didn't really have to. That's kind of okay. But looks like the Russians still have some cav, and they're going to get bayoneted by these guys. So we do break that unit of Russians, and only lost a few guys. I think I lost 6 guys. Was that unit was 115 before they charged. But the Russian is doing a full charge right now, so it's kind of getting me in trouble. I've kind of got myself in a little corner, but he's sending another unit over, going to break those guys, and they're probably not coming back. They're 40 of 90, 39 of 90. They're not coming back. But when my line opens up, it starts hurting. It hurts the enemy pretty bad. Friday is doing the best he can to hold his line. The British do have some calves still up. They got some 18th Highest Hussars, and Uxbridge actually is in the fight. Henry Uxbridge, or Henry Paget of Uxbridge. Awesome unit too. Both are C8s. Yep, British get a lot of Hussars that are like C8s that are really good. The Imperial Guard is dwindling. Their numbers are still dwindling. See, the Italian still has 2 units there that really could help out. My objective here was to try and break these British. Hopefully they did not form square, which they shouldn't. They've already been engaged. They shouldn't form square, but he needs to stop shooting. He needs to rush these guys up, start trying to flank as best he can. The Russian has units. They were bayoneting. I did send in my Hussars to try and maybe break these, but they break instantly. I did pull back these units. It's not worth fighting there. But these British, man, they really do fight really well in melee. It's honestly insane. Are these yeah, these are the 1801 Egypt. Supposedly, I don't really know. Some people say they're a melee faction almost. But I thought really Russia was really the melee faction, but apparently the British are pretty good at melee. So right now the British are still the army that still has the most units in the field at the moment. These Russian units does form up a line, made a square. So I started bagging my guys out. They did their work. They broke a few British units, but the Russians have a flank here. So we are slowly pushing in. I redraw my line, push them back in. The house is still not in our control. The Imperial Guard, Ares has done his best to try and take this house, but man, it has not gone well. We've really, every time we threw in Ares threw in units, the British and the Russian player has thrown it. So we've got, I think these are Grenadiers, or these are Musketeers, and then we've got these Grenadiers who apparently are insane. But I do know that Ares did lose. I mean, he's got his combat general right now. His units may have just been too low to really get in the fight. But this house is kind of on the left flank, and they could really. So I mean, he just starts shooting into the house. They're all, which is interesting. There's a whole like, where are these guys at? Oh gosh. It is like a little fort up in here, and I find it interesting that nobody's in the courtyard. Everybody's in the house. It's actually pretty good out. What are you guys doing? You're standing amongst them. Stab them in the back. Come on, or I don't care. Any of y'all get in the fight. But the British player is pushing back the Imperial Guard. I do notice that the British cav is coming, most likely for my 6-pounder. The Italian and I are really pushing them out, but I don't have the cav to fight this, and none of these units around can square except for one. But they get a charge in, and my guys are broken pretty much. This British cav is still, having them around really was not a good thing for the end of us. We're going to kind of fast forward a little bit because we're going to try to redraw the line. I did lose my artillery here. The British are pushing up on the Imperial Guard. These are the last 4 units of the Imperial Guard. Besides, and my general, which is already dead. It doesn't really matter. He's already dead, but Friday does get his general away, which is really good. And I start bringing my Cuirassiers over to try and fight these British cav, and my guys are exhausted. But as you can see, this is when it was like, dang, we were doing so well to now I was pretty positive we were about to lose because I didn't know. I don't have any Grenadiers. The only one that really has any troops able to take a house is Friday, and right now he is separated. Like, we're on the backside. Imperial Guard is gone. The Imperial Guard is gone. Our only hope to really try to take a house and really be affirmative is gone. I mean, these Musketeers. I mean, not these Musketeers. These Russian Grenadiers just did work. Honestly, insane. But I mean, the British right here. I mean, this guard unit is still in the action. They have 184 of 238 men. Yeah, they look good. Oof, that guy got hit though. He took a Danish bullet, and this unit right here can form square. So I mean, it is not going well for Friday. So he's just like, hey, look, I'm gonna pull back. The Imperial Guard, actually, the Imperial Guard does have one unit. He's got some Velites from Turin. I guess these are some Italians. So he does have them at least, and they're going to start shooting in the flank. But Friday is pulling back. He's like, I'm just going to have to defend up here. We're all the way up here, and maybe he can pull back the British player while we try and finish off what's up here. Because right here, they don't really have a lot. So I'm going to fast forward. The Italian player is moving through the woods, which it's questionable. It's questionable. But, you know, he's trying to get the flank on. Kind of get that flank and spank. But he needs to really get up in the face of these guys right here. I'm really lining. I should have made my line it big, because these are real columns. Columns are good. They do fine in Total War 3, but I'm not probably getting as much fire down the line. I don't really know how. I'm not really good with, I guess, the mechanics. But as you see, British player anymore. Friday has completely been cut off. The British player has formed up a lot of line, and this Russian unit is just devastating. Just devastating. Oh man, look at that's a big clump of guys. Poor guys, poor Danes. But he did shoot some. Right here with the old guard was duking it out. They did put a whooping on him. But the British, we are kind of outnumbered. I need the Italian to get into fight. I need a alien to get into the fight. These grasshoppers are pretty annoying too, because they can shoot long range. They're probably trying to get Friday. I'm trying to realign my line because I don't want to get flanked by the Brits if I pushed up too much. But this fight was, I mean, right now we are completely, but the British player, and it looks like the Russian player with his guard and musketeers are pushing back to come in behind or come in to face us. We have the larger contingent. Friday does see that though, and he's like, oh look, I'm gonna, chase. He's not gonna just sit back and let them come all the way back. He's gonna push too. You always want to try and be in the mind of, you always want to be like, hey look, you're gonna run away from me. I'm gonna come back. Just because I ran away once doesn't mean I'm gonna sit here. Talon is moving his cav. He's got his infantry. I don't really know. He has two really good infantry back here that can square, that could have been useful. Russian player is moving around, and the Italian is having trouble moving through the thick woods. So we got another lull in the action. We're going to kind of fast forward here. I do send over 3 units because of his cav, and I want to flank around and try to get some of his shots into these lights. My cuirassiers are, I guess, resting up. This is one of our last cav. The Italian does have some dragoons. Napoleon, and it's time to reorganize and come up to the fight with the British again. These guys are through the building, which these are Sicilian. These guys are pretty cool. I think from what I read about their little battle log or whatever is that these are like Eastern European. Or no, that's not them. That's the Britanniques. These are kind of a cool unit though. But we are shooting back. It is my units in a line fight will do pretty well with the British. I really know. To me, I feel like the British should really win every line fight, but sometimes they don't. I don't really know how it determines. I know the British soldiers have like a 65 range compared to the French 70 range. So I don't know if, I know if you get closer, you become more accurate, but it may be, that if you get closer enough, if you get that extra 5 yards where the British can finally shoot you, you're getting an accuracy buff with your French soldiers. So I don't really know. But we are duking it out at the moment. This unit has pretty much been a mainstay for the Italians. Such a cool unit. Combat General is done really, really well, and they're duking it out with some of the 1801 Egypt. So 1801 Egypt still has some units. Friday is pushing up on the house. Maybe he can take it. Fast forward some, get into the action here. While we're all kind of thinking the same thing. Like, this is a super, super close match. We can either win or we can lose. British player, is, you can see him up in the top left. He's trying to sweep around and get my 3 units. 2 of those 3 units can square, so that's good. But they're taking some pot shots. I got him running. I want him to kind of think that I don't see him. I do form square just the right moment, but he does come kind of crashing in. Do lose some guys, but I form square with 2 of my units, and the other one kind of backs up to take shots. but my Cuirassiers are moving over. They're finally just winded, so they're in pretty good shape. Russian player, I think he did drop a relief. I think he got disconnected. I think Friday got a message after the game that he did disconnect, which is it's not fun. But his AI didn't do bad. His AI still formed square, which was pretty competent of the AI. But he does bring them on this side. The British player does turn around and start bashing in Friday's troops, which is pretty insane that this Sicilian Legion, which I think they only have like a morale of like 2 or 3 or 4. They beat the Koenig line infantry, which I don't know if these are one of the elite units. I think these are one of the elite line infantry, so they do break them, which is not fun. This house is kind of a real struggle. I really don't want to push up my line and get in that house, but we got another lull. Italian is kind of chasing here, trying to come in the back of this British player here. Most of Friday's units are starting to break, but they're starting to come back. But he's starting to retreat, but the British player is sending his cav into the fight, but he doesn't. He still has a few units that can square, but the British player is coming in from behind. I start rushing up some of my units, trying to cut down as many of these British units as I can, piecemeal as possible. And I do know the Russian is over here, but they're taking some shots from these grasshoppers, which have still made it all this way. Pretty good. British cav is over there. So it's time to try and use my own cav, which have gotten down to active, which means they're still able to fight. Do bring in these units here. Start shooting at these guys. And we got it going on. We got it going on. Friday is pushing back, but right now his units are getting devastated. He's going to go for the charge with his Finns. And the Italian and I are really the only two that really have a, I guess, together fight. But we are pushing in. I do a charge. AI does form a square, which is odd for it, but it's okay. Which is pretty good for it. I do form up, start trying to bash in these guys here. We're gonna fast forward a little bit here. Gotta use the bathroom, so I don't want to pause it or keep it going without me talking. So we're gonna kind of squeezing on through, kind of lose some minutes here. Start forming a line with a bunch of these guys. Italy is pushing up. British cav is kind of hurting right now. Friday still does have some units that are still good to go. His units are still pushing up. I have my French going to push in behind. But we are having a little separate battle. I got a separate battle over here. I got a line battle over here. I do notice that I could probably squeeze in and try to get some shots on these guys with my units here. But as the Italian is doing okay. Area 51 is rocking and rolling. I do get these Russian soldiers out of square. They did not form square, so in my second charge. So I do kill the general, and I think that was him. Where was he at? Yep, he was right there. I think he was dismounted in the square or around his guys. So these musketeers here, or line infantry, are the only thing standing in my way. I'm going to line up my infantry and shoot him in the face. And that's kind of it for them. We'll go back to normal speed for a little while. British cav does charge into the carabiners, which are really good at melee. They're really good. You know, they don't break instantly. A square is formed by these guys, and these guys will probably break, but they do break. They do break. I do send a unit over to try and put some shots in. And I rush up these guys to kind of get some flanking shots. So we've got we're in a pretty little better place. The British player did use up both cav units, I think. I can't see the other one, but using that cav unit was really good. He lost a lot of mobility. I do see my opportunity, and I am going to throw in some of my Frenchies. This is my combat general into the fray, and I'm going to, well, these guys are, I don't know what they're doing. I think they were put there, but they're just going to line up, so they just do that. I am throwing up my line. The Italian is holding as best he can. He's got 2 units coming up into the rear. He's going to back up. My guys are standing there too. That unit should come back. No, I don't know. 115 to 214? I don't know. I get Friday to pull up his general still to kind of help out. I do have 2 units, including my combat general. So right now it's looking good for us. We've got Wattville, and these grenadiers are still duking it out. They're winded. I do try to do a charge. Hopefully he's not paying attention. He is paying attention, so he gets square. Back my guys up a little bit. But right now, it's like, hey, look, we've got this. I think one of my units did break. Because now there's only one out of there. I had 2 in there. I don't know what these guys are doing. I do throw in a unit over there because I don't want to lose. I don't want them to come back around and take it from me. But I was like, hey, you know, this if we win this house, we've got it, because we've got that LOC, that OLC, and that LOC. So we've got 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got the LOC. Oh no, Billy, where the heck am I at? Okay. Can I squeeze? Oh man. So we've got the LOC, and right now, like the bar says it's us, but I mean this grenadier unit. I don't know how many kills this thing had, but man, it was. These guys were rocking, and I mean, I saw that, I was like, oh no, come on, you know, they're going back and forth right now. It's pretty nerve-wracking. I've got some units lined up just to go in. You know, it says it's me, but it's playing with me, man. It's teasing. The Italian did get some of his squareable units in there, and they're duking it out with the 2 Sicilies as well. But man, it's teasing me. These guys, look at that. They're red. You know, they're tired. They're ready to go. Shaking, and then boom. Oh, you know, concerned now. You know, now they're just concerned. It's pretty nerve-wracking. We do form line. Italy comes back into the fight. Props to Alien 52, Area 52 Alien. He's rocking and rolling with his guys. His Italians did really well this game. I mean, shout out to everybody in this game. This is another great game. Just a fun game to take part in. Just awesome. Finally, the Grenadiers do break, and all that's left is the Wattville's unit, and I mean, they're gonna break. It's going. So, and actually, Italy's infantry took this house, so we've got it. It's GG, man. It was hard fought though. I mean, just the amount of movement that we did to get around this area is just insane. But I mean, just GG all around. Cocky Cossack, Brennan, Huff, IglooToIcicle. Props to y'all. You know, props to Friday and Ares and Area 52 Alien. Just props to everybody. Like, this is just a great. This is a great mod. This is a great game. I can't wait till they make Empire Total War Empire 2, or they make another Napoleon, or I don't know what they do next. Historical wise, a big game wise. But this mod just makes it great. But we're slowly pushing in. We'll fast forward because this is pretty much all she wrote. Man, look at this unit. This unit is a solid unit. Just, woof. They were pretty good. But we are pushing in, trying to finish off what we have. British are being defiant in the face of defeat, true bulldog style. They're forming square, but we are making the final push. Like, it's been a great game, man. It was ebb and flow the whole time. Just good game to everybody that took part. Oh man, just they form square. They actually charge into them. So try to get these guys to form square. They do form squares. I'm like, but those guys, and they're gonna sit there and wander around. But it's just a great game. Great game. Loved it every minute of this game. It was a thriller, to say the least. Like I said, I enjoy playing this mod. I enjoy playing good games. You know, not every game is always a great game. I mean, I did well during this game, but everybody did well this game. It's just a good game to show. I just want good games. I want to remember good games. I want to be involved with those. I don't like the cheese. I don't like you know, I just want some good stuff. Some good fights. So we're just trying to finish the game here, get it rolling. We're going a little faster here. British are defiant as ever. These guys have hung in. Do we have any 1801 guys still left? We do not. Maybe these guys? Yes. The foot guards. Let's look at these guys. Man, they look good too. They look like the Welsh Fusiliers from the Peninsular, or the 1815 campaign. But man, really great game. They do form square. devastating to my man. But man, just a great game. All the way pushed, ebbed, back and forth, straight up, changed completely where we were positioned on the map. But man, that guard unit was devastating too. But we're just trying to finish it out. Just a great game. This map is awesome. Again, this map was actually really enjoyable. It gives the guy on this position the decision to pull back here was a really smart position. They may have talked about it or something, but it was a great decision to pull back, kind of regroup, get everybody together. I mean, that's what this game allows. In the normal game, you can see where everybody is, and you start closer. So you do have strategy, you do have this and that and that, but this game does allow for one army starts here, and then we've got some here and one over here, and then you have a choice. You have the ability to say, hey, look, we'll charge here and we'll wait here. But game's a done deal. Good game to all these. Like, look, it's just kills above 500 across the board. Just a great game. Great game. Just a fantastic game. Looking at the kills here, my infantry did really well. Hussars with 255. Just a great. My artillery didn't do a whole lot, only 31. But man, just a great game. Good game to all these guys. Just a great game. I hope y'all have enjoyed this video. I don't really do these just to show like me just winning or us just winning or stuff. I want to post games that are fun, games that are good, where both sides are real competent. Like it's their fun games. So I hope you enjoy, and please leave a like and a comment. All right, thanks.